Test, test, test. Okay. Hello, guys. Please let me know if you can hear me because I have just edited my setup a little bit. Just put it in the comments if you can hear me or not before I start doing anything else. You guys can hear me or no? Okay, nice. So, sorry if I look like shit. I'm a little bit tired right now. As you know, we are working on the rebrand of Crypto Campus. And this takes up a lot of time. And apart from that, I have to work on BrickX, Margin Engine, a whole lot of other stuff. Corpse is gonna be here to answer John's question tomorrow at 6 in the evening. He is gonna fly this evening, and then he will lose 6 hours during that flight due to the time difference. And I am super excited for that. Just know that Corpse booked a one-way ticket, so he's gonna be here for like a couple of months. And we had to do this just so we could deliver the absolute best product for you guys. So right now we are still in development. We hope to be launching next week or a week after. And I just want to talk about this for a while, like 5 minutes before we go onto the market. Reason is, you know, I started Crypto Campus purely because I was working, and let me tell you guys a nice story here. I had a job actually, while I was trading, and at one point, during the bull market, I got so much questions about crypto from my boss, from my colleagues, from my friends on Twitter, etc., that I thought like maybe I can start a small side business, nothing much special. And then before I knew it, there were 250 members in the group. Okay, so it started from like something funny to a real serious business. And today we have over 3,000 members in the group. We have a Crypto Campus team that consists of 7 people, that are working to deliver the best product we can. And I am super proud of that. And I just want to thank all of you, for making this happen. And I do know that the last couple of weeks we haven't been super active in the channel, but the main reason for this is because Corpse and I, we are both serious traders, not to brag or anything, but we do this for a living. So, and I noticed that a lot of people want to do that as well. And in order to make that happen, we have to have this solid structure, this solid base, and everything that comes with it. Next week it will hopefully be launching, then we can start, and it will be awesome. It will be next level. So I'm just gonna share my screen now. Let's see where it is. There we are. Share screen and go. Okay. I really want to start off in a different way today. I want to start off with the traditional markets. Gonna start off in Europe, and then we will go over to the US. Okay, so we're gonna start on the DAX, and please excuse me for 1 second because there is someone at the doorbell, and I just have to check who it is. 1 second. Okay, so that was my pizza. I'm actually working until like 12 o'clock at night most of the days, so a man's gotta eat, right? Hope you guys don't mind for that. I'm sorry. So the DAX, this is kind of comparable to the S&P for Germany. And what we see here is a massive, massive head and shoulders. Now, if we go to the weekly chart, because I really want to, show you guys the scale of things, we can see that the chart is comparable to the S&P, that it has formed a giant head and shoulders, and that it has, broken out of the neckline and is currently dumping very, very fast. If we go to the S&P, we can see sort of the same story. We have support here, which has been in place since 2016. S&P made a very nice move up. Then it diverged, so it made a higher high. The RSI made a lower high, as did the MACD. And now it seems to be creating a new support. So we have this support right here, which has, survived the day for now. But that's still, this is still an ascending wedge, which is bearish. So I do believe once the S&P breaks out on the downside, the DAX, S&P, everything, the whole stock market will take a very, very big hit. Now, it's important to understand the reason for this. And for this, we're going to have to go back in time. So 2009. In 2009, 2008, we had the financial crisis and all the markets took a 60% hit. This was due to loans, debt, etc., which could not be paid. We solved this crisis by printing money and making more debt. In fact, 10 times more debt. So the situation, even though it looks very good, is now far, far worse than it was. Now, if we get another crash, just to show you guys the perspective of things here, that would be, in my opinion, a pretty severe crash. Now, we have never experienced a stock market crash in the existence of Bitcoin. So I'm very curious to see how Bitcoin will actually react, to a stock market crash. And obviously, please keep in mind, I'm not saying we are going to have a stock market crash this year, because obviously the central banks are printing money, quantitative easing, they can keep it going for a very long time. But one day it's going to have to go wrong. Doesn't have to be today, could be in 10 years. But it looks pretty bad now. And I'm very, very curious to see how Bitcoin will react to a dump, because as we all know, gold, silver have been the assets to buy during stock market crashes. And I believe that Bitcoin actually, follows those assets because it has a limited supply. It's basically digital gold, as a lot of people compare it to gold. So that's going to be exciting to see. In a couple of days, we're going to have the ETF decision. So I do hope the ETF is accepted. And it would be nice, and this is pure speculation, guys, but it would be absolutely awesome to see the stock market go to hell and Bitcoin to the moon. That would be my, I wouldn't say dream, but it would make me very, very happy. Because that way, we all get rich. Real estate will drop tremendously in value, as will stocks, and we can reinvest those profits back into the traditional market. But this is speculation. Would be nice if it happens. It doesn't have to happen. Now, Bitcoin, TA, you've probably seen my descending triangle multiple times in my past live streams. And, we are coming to an end for this triangle. I believe that the volatility is currently this low because everybody is actually waiting on the ETF decision. In fact, Bitcoin at this point is, it's even more stable than the stock markets. So there you have it. Volatility argument goes out of the window for now. On the downside, this doesn't have a lot of trading opportunities. If you're just gonna trade sideways, you're not gonna make a whole lot of money as a trader. That's why I've also been posting stock market opportunities, silver opportunities. And when we do the rebrands, when we launch our new products, I want all of us to be able to trade any instruments, because money can be made on any instrument. And if you limit yourself to one asset class, you're going to have a bad time. For example, if you're not trading stocks, if you're only trading crypto, this would have been a very bad year for you. But if you're trading everything, you always have something or some place to go to trade. So that's why I really want to include it. And I think it's also important for, if there is going to be a crash and Bitcoin is going to the moon, we need to be able to reinvest those profits. Now, as far as I'm concerned, Bitcoin has broken out to the upside, yet there is no reaction. And again, I believe this is due to the ETF decision. This is like very major, because let me show you guys. Gold. And if I'm not mistaken, and I really want to get this right, so let me Google it for a second. First gold ETF was launched in 2003. And as we can see, 2003 is here. And basically after that, it mooned. Now, why is this? Why is an ETF so important? And I'm going to show you that as well. And I believe it was demonology or something like that. Demonocracy. That was it. Very weird name. So we're gonna look at some nice pictures here, and this is very important. So even though it might not be fun to watch this, it's not Crypto TA. It's very, very important that you understand this. This is $100. This is $10,000. On scale. If you have $100 million, it fits on a pallet like this. Okay. This is $1 billion. Basically, this is 10 pallets. Then we go on, $1 trillion. Basically that's a whole skyscraper of money. Now, we go on, blah, 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 blah. And then we come at one point to world money supply. This is all the money in the world, printed money, okay? Government bonds, etc. Then we come to, and this is very important to understand eventually, derivatives. Ta-da! Derivatives. Derivatives, or I should say, the derivative market is over 1 quadrillion. So it's very hard to comprehend this amount of money. And this amount of money will become available to Bitcoin if there is an ETF. Okay? So that should give you, some sense of why this is important, and also why gold basically mooned right after the ETF. And, it went 400% up to the sky. I think for Bitcoin, if it happens, it's going to be a far bigger move. Now to the important stuff, or important for, you guys. Bitcoin, as far as I'm concerned, there is still no real direction. Even though, according to my chart, we broke out, there's no reaction from the price, still above support. So it's looking semi-good, but I'm still not confident enough to take a trade on this. We're going to have to see some kind of bullish impulse or a break below support before I actually do anything with Bitcoin. The alt market is a little bit of a different story. And let us go to Ethereum. I believe Ethereum is the leading alt, and it's a good indicator for the overall alt market. Bittrex. Ethereum, still, we haven't had a lot of changes in the chart. We still didn't break resistance, and I strongly believe that this is the resistance channel that we're going to have to look at. There is no real support because, as I always say, support takes 3 tests, and we don't have those. So we have some kind of resistance to look at. RSI, is looking okay-ish, but it's nothing special. Same for MACD, currently totally flat. So what this indicates to me is that everybody is currently in indecisiveness, unsurety. And, once again, I think that's due to the ETF. Now, this covers most of the main alts, like the large alts, right? What this doesn't cover is something very specific, something small, but it's very important. If we take a look at, let's say, Lux, for example, right? Lux has been doing very, very well over the last few days. Now, if we take a look at Raven, and let me go to CoinMarketCap, get the ticker RVN. If we look at RVN, Raven, we can see Raven has been doing very, very well. If we look at Haven, and I forgot the ticker. Sorry, guys, I didn't choose to have this problem, but there are so much coins now that it's basically almost impossible to keep up with all of them. If we look at Haven, it's performing really, really well. And this actually resembles the end of the previous bear market. When we had the previous bear market, and we're going to go back to the Bitcoin chart, sorry if it's a little bit chaotic, but I'm trying to explain a lot of things here. When we had the Bitcoin bear market, it wasn't here that alts started picking up. Alts actually started picking up and started moving right around here at the bottom, or the worst time in the bear market. That's when alts began to pick up. Keep in mind, the major alts, in 2014, as far as we can speak about major alts, and this coincides with January or December, I should say, 2014. The major alts in 2014 didn't participate in this pre-pump, as I would like to call it. In fact, they kept going down. Most of them disappeared, actually. But, the newer alts, the small alts, began to pick up a little. Now, what I mean to say by this is the following. Currently, we are used to this picture. We are used to seeing Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Bitcoin Cash, EOS, blah, 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 blah. I think it's very likely that, from the top 25, probably like 10 or 15 coins are going to disappear and are going to be replaced by new coins, which are currently very small. Why is this? This is for a very simple reason. And I'm very sober when it comes to this, but I'm also realistic. This market is controlled by whales. It just is. There is no way around it. And, whales, once a coin has reached 2 billion market cap or 1 billion, don't have the ability to play with that coin anymore. It's too hard to control a market with this kind of market cap. So what they do, and it all sounds like a conspiracy theory, but it isn't. Trust me, I remember the Wolong days. I remember the Fontes days. They go shopping for new, smaller alts. So let's take Lux for example. A market whale that we all know is John McAfee. There is no denying that he runs, and this is not meant as Lester or anything, but we all know he pumps and dumps coins. You know, back in the day, he used to call out coins and they would 3x, stuff like that, all very obscure. McAfee actually became CEO of Lux. Why would a person that is extremely well known in the crypto market become CEO of a coin with 6 million market cap? And keep in mind, you know, even though I do love Lux, I love the developers, I love the progress they're making, but as far as technology, there are, you know, a large amount of coins which are doing just as good or better. Why is he becoming CEO of a coin with 6 million market cap? It's very easy. You know, this market is controllable. And keep in mind, and this is just how it goes, and if you believe me, don't believe me, doesn't matter. It is very likely that during this period, right here, the McAfee team, you know, bought up like 50% of the entire supply of this coin. The next step is to put it on a large exchange, which is what they did here. This is what I like to call volume potential. What is volume potential? Volume potential is a concept created by me, and it means, basically, very simple said, the accessibility of an altcoin to volume. When this coin was only on Cryptopia, the volume potential was, you know, basically $400,000. If Lux performed really well and got to the top 1 of Cryptopia, it would have around $400,000 because, you know, people don't like to get on a new exchange just to buy one coin, so they won't, because people are lazy, you know, they don't want to do work, including me. So, you know, $400,000 was basically the most volume it could get. We all know a coin needs volume in order to make significant gains. So what did they do? They put it on Coinbene here, and suddenly the volume potential is 70 million. If Lux performs really well and goes to the top 3 of Coinbene, there will be like, you know, $25 million volume on Lux. Now, we all know the current market cap for Lux is like 4 million, 5 million, 6 actually by now. Has been performing pretty good. So once this thing starts moving up, you know, at first there will be like just a little bit of volume. Next step, you know, once it starts moving up, people start noticing it. There are already a lot of people on Coinbene. There is a lot of money moving there. So this money will flow into Lux. And eventually, you know, and a very good example is PIVX. Eventually, the chart will look like this. Just going to the daily. Bittrex, probably a little bit better. You know, the chart will look like this. You know, it will move up and it will just continue to move up, defy all logic, you know, make basically a giant bubble. And I used to own, like, I don't know, I used to own a couple thousand PIVX, like 10,000 PIVX. And then I sold because I got impatient. So what I also want to do in this video is explain to you a very easy but simple tactic that will make you a lot of money in the next bull run. So here it goes. I have a strategy, an alt strategy. I got this strategy from venture capitalists. You know, I was going through the market and I was thinking, are there any professional, you know, traders or investors that you can compare to crypto, you know, to businesses with a $4 million market cap? And I got into venture capital. Now, what is venture capital? Venture capitalists are people who help, you know, startups, basically new companies, with a very low valuation. They give them like $1 million, they give them guidance, and they hope that this company will become worth 100 million. Now, what do venture capitalists do? Do you think venture capitalists invest in one business? You know, they give this business like all their money and they hope that it will be all right. No, that's not what they do. And I actually know some venture capitalists, so I got to bounce a lot of ideas of these guys. What venture capitalists do is the following. They buy themselves into 10 different businesses, companies, LLCs, whatever. They expect 8 of them to fail, to disappear, money is gone. But the 2 companies that actually make it, you know, that survive, they expect those businesses to go 100x, easily 100x. So if they put $1 million into 10 different companies, they have invested $10 million. $8 million is lost, it's gone, it's it's lost money. But the $2 million that they invested into those tiny startups, if that goes 100x, they have $200 million, you know, from 10 million. This is how you basically make your first fortune on crypto. If you believe that you are gonna get 1,000x returns on margin trading on BitMEX within a year, you are crazy. There are very, very little opportunities that will provide 100x or 1,000x within a year. But whoever is listening right now, you guys are lucky enough to be in the right space. You know, you are here. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. The last time that this opportunity happened was basically in the internet bubble. And keep in mind, you know, and I really want to show this because we are in a volatile market and it's semi dangerous to trade this. But I really want to show this 1 week. And where the hell is this chart? Ah, there it is. I'm sorry. Amazon, NASDAQ. Here we go. Okay, now look at this. This was the internet bubble. You know, low valuation, then came the bubble, basically went 100x. Then the bubble popped, okay? And like 90% of all internet stocks disappeared. So here they were shouting, okay, it's over, you know, internet sucks, nobody needs internet, blah, blah, blah. But even if you bought the top, which, you know, a lot of people did on Bitcoin, you know, it doesn't matter right now. If you bought the top in the year 2000, you would be shit rich by now. And it's the same story for crypto. I expect that there will be one final bubble, a huge bubble, because if we look at Bitcoin, and I'm going a little bit deeper on my thoughts than I usually do, but I really want to share this. If we look at Bitcoin, it grows in bubbles, and this is normal. This is perfectly normal. It's the same as a child, you know, a couple of weeks, a child grows extremely fast. We call it a growth spurt, and then it stops growing for a while. It's the same with markets. And every time there's a bubble, you know, basically it grows like 1,000%, another 1,000%, and then here we go, another 1,000%. There we go. Actually, oh, this is a little bit more. Just going to the log scale because it's more easy. 1,000%, you know, but this is how Bitcoin and the crypto market grows. This is also how the internet market grew. And the current market cap is 200 billion. And I want you to keep in mind that the internet bubble was 20 trillion market cap. So that is 100 times larger. Now, you know, I'm a strong believer once we see the ETF launched that, you know, Bitcoin basically will exceed expectations in terms of growth. And that is because we are today, let's see, click on the image. Today we are entering the crypto market with basically this money. So let's go down. We are entering the crypto market with paper money. That's what we are trading in. We are not trading the crypto market with government bonds, any kind, type of bonds. We're not. This is it. This is what is available. Once the ETF is launched, this huge stack of money here is going to be available. So I think we're going to get one final bubble that will push Bitcoin to basically 200,000 to 1 million. And, a lot of people say I'm crazy, but I can count on my hand how many people I told that Bitcoin would be the future. It's going to be awesome. And right around this zone here, everybody laughed at me like, you're crazy, you lost money, but I was right, blah, blah, blah. And they didn't want to buy, they didn't want to buy Bitcoin. So then it mooned, and what do you know? Right around here, everybody started calling me how to buy Bitcoin. That's also part of the reason why Crypto Campus was born. How do I buy it? How do I trade it? And I think it's going to happen one more time. And, I'd say this to everyone. It doesn't matter how much money you have. Put some money into Bitcoin, just let it sit for 10 years and you're going to be settled, even if it's just like $1,000. But I believe that this final bubble will drive the crypto market and all the alts into, unimaginable levels, just because of all this unimaginable money that will become available. Now, once this has happened, probably most alts will die. A lot of blockchain companies will go broke. But if you pick the right ones, like Amazon, then it doesn't matter, because even if you bought at the top, once blockchain technology goes mainstream, you're going to have a huge return. Any questions so far? Do we have any questions? Oh, hey, Miss Bitcoin. Good to see you here. ICX. What do I think about ICX and Trade Token? Good question. Let's go to Icon first. There we are. So Icon, and I already did this one like 2 live streams ago, but that's not really a problem. As far as I'm concerned, technically Icon broke out. After that, it has been flat for a very long time. So what I want to do is go to the unbalanced volume. Now it's already there. And to accumulation, distribution. Here we are. Unbalanced volume takes all the green candles, so the green days, the volume of the green days, I should say, and subtracts the volume of the red days. Now, if that's a positive number, unbalanced volume moves up. Generally when it does, the price also moves up. When the negative volume is larger, unbalanced volume moves down. Same for the price. Accumulation, distribution, kind of the same concept. I'm not going to go into many details right now. But what this means is you can see money flowing in or out of the market. I call this my whale spotter because, whales can move the markets very quietly. Nobody will notice it by the price, but people will notice this on the unbalanced volume and the accumulation distribution. Basically, what we see here is, more people have been selling Icon than they have been buying up until the breakout. Now, right after that, we can see that there is buying pressure. The unbalanced volume is moving up. Even though the price isn't, the unbalanced volume is moving up. Same for the accumulation distribution indicator. So as far as I'm concerned, this could be the bottom. And if you want to make a trade here, I think this would make a very good trade. If we take our risk to reward tool, we open a long, we can set our stop just below the previous low. And the reason why I really want to set a stop here, if we break that low, we're going to go into price discovery mode. We have never traded here in this range, and who knows, where the bottom is. As long as it doesn't, there could be a very, very good setup here. Now, we will take our Fibonacci retracement, just retrace this whole move, and we're going to look for support resistance. Personally, I can see two solid levels. First level is the 05. The 05 has been into play ever since December last year. It struggled to get through. Once it did, it pumped pretty hard. Took a while to get through it again, below it, then it turned back into resistance, and we never regained control. So once ICX starts moving up, I think this would be a very nice target. However, there is one resistance below that level, which is the 236. You can see that, this has been a very well-respected level in the market. So what I mean to say here is that this trade will give you a great risk-reward ratio. And as far as I'm concerned, risk-reward is what it's all about. If you get 50% of your trades right and you have a risk-reward of 2, you're going to 2x your money. So I would be careful. If this thing breaks down below support, I'm never going to tell anyone to sell or to buy, but, it's going to go into price discovery, and it's going to find a bottom, and nobody knows where. As long as it doesn't, there's a very good opportunity here. There is very little sideways resistance. So, I would say if you're in this, stay in it. Trade token. And I got wrecked, guys, seriously. It happens, but it still sucks. Trade token. Basically, the cold storage got hacked, which is, I'm going to be honest here, a giant red flag for me. As long as nobody had physical access to their cold storage, if it was an outsider, it should not have been hacked. Now, there are 2 ways, or actually 3 ways, how this could have happened. 1, their cold storage wasn't cold, it was connected to the internet, and somebody hacked their servers and stole it. 2, this was an inside job. Somebody, walked to the cold storage, took it, and sold it. Or 3, there was a mistake in the smart contract, and basically everything got taken out that way. I'm betting on the 3rd way because once the hack happened, they were talking about moving to another platform, to KMD, EOS, I don't know. I think if they do that, the reason is due to the mistake in the smart contract, but keep in mind, this is pure speculation. It's very sad that the cold storage got hacked. That being said, I think they are solving it very professionally. They are giving away their own coins, their own stuff. I think, I've seen more projects get hacked, and what happens most often is they just, go silent, the founders leave, whatever. I think they've solved it pretty goodly, and, I'm very content with that. And I can only imagine if you have a project, and you've raised $30 million and you're doing well, because they were doing well, no denying about that. Their marketing is on point, the product is good. And if you get hacked, that must really suck for them. So I'm going to wait and see how they solve it. If I'm happy with the way they solve it, I'm going to keep my coins. And, more projects have been hacked that have been successful afterwards. So all we can do now is wait, because the trading is disabled. Sadly, I amassed such a large position, basically, that I cannot sell it, because that would really be bad for the market. So I'm going to have to wait and see, and I think a lot of you will have to wait and see as well. Next request. I'm actually not tired yet, so I'm going to do a lot of requests today. Simon Horde, I actually already took a look at the traditional markets. For everybody that just came in, and I'm just going to take 1 minute to do this. SPX breached support. It has set a second support, but it's not looking too good. If this thing breaks down, you know, we could be looking at another recession, basically. The reason is mostly debt. 2009 was a debt crisis. The crisis came because of a lot of debt. And let me tell you a funny story. I know a guy that works at a bank. I will not name the bank. I will not name the guy. This crisis here was mostly due to bad mortgages. A mortgage is a loan that you take to buy a house. What happened here? First of all, more debt was created. They created more debt to solve the debt crisis, and then whoop, there we go. Very nice. What happened to the mortgages? When this crisis came, the rules for banks were sharpened. If a bank wishes to hold bad mortgages, like very risky mortgages, they have to also hold money, like cash, in their account. Doing this is very expensive for a bank, and it's not beneficial for the bank either. What did they do with those mortgages? Because you cannot just, disregard a mortgage. They moved all these bad loans, these bad mortgages, to pension funds. Pension funds do not have those rules. They don't have to keep cash for bad mortgages. So all these bad loans are currently in pension funds, and when things go bad, it's gonna hurt a lot of people. I can see a request for nulls. One of my favorites, actually. Same story for nulls as with ICANN. And once again, I think the reason why we see all these flatliners is due to the ETF decision. A lot of people are waiting on it. This one's a little bit different because we do have some price information, even though it's not much. First, I'm going to draw the fibs. You can see that we are resting very nicely against the 236. So here's the deal. I don't think there's a whole lot of support below the 236. The 236 is, as far as I'm concerned, disregarding the data above this price point, the strongest support that we have right now. And I think if it's breached, that would be pretty bad. Now, on the bright side, we can see that, hold on. And I think I have to remove the log scale. Sometimes you just have to be a little bit creative. Nothing wrong with that, because this is crypto. It's just more volatile, it's more weird. And I learned that being creative is actually pretty good if you can spot things other people can't. I'd say this is resistance. We breached through resistance, as we have with many alts, and then it flatlined. Indecisiveness. Indecisiveness is not necessarily bad, but keep in mind, indecisiveness is fuel. If you keep a flatliner for a very long time and it starts moving in a certain direction, it will go very violently into that direction. Now, accumulation, distribution, we can see that there is some sort of accumulation. It's moving up pretty nicely. And we made a lower low here. We didn't do so on the accumulation distribution indicator. I'm going to guess the MACD is flat as well. Not a lot of data to be pulled from this. So I like nulls. I have a lot of nulls in my long-term portfolio, but that is pure for the fundamentals. If you want to take a trade here, do so wisely. I don't believe that this is a super trade opportunity, for the reason that there is a ton of resistance at 382. If we put our stop just below the support here, we have a 2.8. So that's actually a little bit more than I expected. Makes it like, a decent trade, 2.3. And if you want to take this trade, it's definitely possible, but do so carefully. Sia coin. I'm gonna do Sia coin in a second. I see a question. What do you reckon to Tether now? Seems to have recovered, but not at parity with the dollar. That's true. I want to look at a little something with you guys. Kraken. There we go. There is one more time that Tether took a big hit, a big dump, which was in April 2017, just before the giant bull run. Okay? So the only point of reference that we have is this data. After the dump, there was a giant bull run, right? Doesn't mean it's going to happen again, but this is the reference data that I'm using. And the reason is as follows. If we go to BTC USD and we go to Bitfinex, and I'm going to show you guys a really nice trick right now. If you type a minus and then you type again BTC USD and you click, for example, Bitstamp, it's going to show you the difference in price between Bitfinex and Bitstamp. In the past, you know, there was one more reference, you know, when there was a large divergence between these prices. And that was in April 2017, just before the giant bull run. There are some notable differences. Obviously, you know, a price difference of $1,000 between two exchanges cannot be good news. It cannot, per definition, be good news. The only time that I have seen such a large price difference was when an exchange was insolvent. They cannot pay out USD to their users. So what do users do? They buy Bitcoin and pull those of the exchange, thus inflating the price on one exchange. You know, and that was Mt. Gox, basically. That's when this happened. I'm not saying Bitfinex is insolvent. If they are, I think that would be very special, considering they have made a buttload of money, like serious amounts of money. But it could be, you know, so all we can do is keep an eye on this. And we can only speculate what this means. Now, another notable difference is that this price difference isn't really getting smaller. You know, obviously it was huge, but it's still there. So we're gonna have to wait and see how this plays out. I'm not a fan of Tether. I'm not a fan of stable coins because it is an asset printed out of thin air, backed by an asset printed out of thin air. And I thought the point of crypto was like financial revolution, blah, 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 all that. And if we're going to do the exact same thing as banks, just because some people want to get rich quick, that is not very beneficial to the overall crypto community. Would you trade your USDT for USDC? I do not use stable coins. I'm allergic for stable coins. I want them to, you know, disappear. And I don't see any reason to use them anyway. Because, you know, basically, I am all in Bitcoin. Like almost everything I have is in Bitcoin. When I make profit on a trade, it goes into my Bitcoin stack. And the reason is because I believe in Bitcoin and I believe this is best for my own financial future. UKG, next request. And I'm just going to do a lot of requests here. So if you want to hang on, join me in the chat, feel free. You know, I don't have anything very special to note for you guys, but feel free to do requests. Feel free to do or to ask anything. This one is very special. Accumulation, distribution, and unbalanced volume. We can see that during the pump in 2017, unbalanced volume has risen a lot. So people bought a lot of coins. And the interesting thing here is that, you know, either somebody bought a lot of coins from sellers in this period right here, or people didn't sell. because the unbalanced volume barely dropped, to the pre-pump levels. Same for accumulation distribution. Now, this could either be good news or it could be bad news. Why is this? If people actually sold, it is good news because new people have acquired these coins at lower prices and are willing to sell high. If nobody sold, that means that all these people right here are stuck at a loss and probably want to get out at a break even. That being said, this is a very long period of accumulation, broke out now, and this might be doing very well. So what I would do here, same thing, just put a long, stop below the previous low right here, and target is going to be here, basically at this low. I'm just gonna grab a glass of water real quick. I'll be gone for like 30 seconds. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Talking for a long time, so Sashko is asking why are we not getting a lot of trades in the group. As I said at the start of this live stream, me and Corpse, basically realized that if we want our members to be profitable, and give them an opportunity to become a full-time trader, we need a solid course that covers all the basics, and some of the advanced stuff. Currently, I and Corpse are working, and this is not exaggerated, 16 hours a day, at least. I'm at the office from 9 in the morning until right now it's 11 in the evening, so long days, and we are working our asses off to produce this new course. We hope to launch next week or the week after, and I believe that the new structure, like the way we do things, because even the whole Discord will be revamped. There will be a week by week course that people will follow, and after that course, people know how we trade, how to follow trades, how to do their own trades. Because let me give you guys an example here. When I do a trade, like a Bitcoin trade or whatever, I do it with 1% of my margin money. Why do I do that? That's for the following reason. And I'm just gonna grab something here. Show this to you guys, because I think it's important, and please listen to this, because this will change the way you trade instantly right now. I'm just pulling this up from my computer. This is from the margin engine that I'm going to show you now. Just going to show one slide, or I'm going to show 2 slides. First slide is this. I hope you guys can actually see this. If you have a strategy that wins 50% of the time, okay, so if you do 10 trades, 5 trades are going to be wrong and 5 trades are going to be right. Okay, so 50% win rate. That's your strategy. If you have that win rate, okay, and you do 600 trades, there are going to be 15 instances where you have 5 or 6 trades in a row wrong. So even though your win rate is 50%, you're going to be wrong 6 times in a row. Okay, this is statistical probability, you know, and this is very important because trading is nothing more than building an edge on a market. What do you think happens when I risk 5% of my portfolio? No, let's say 10%. I see a lot of people doing 10% per trade, 20% per trade, so 10%. And I have one of these losing streaks. I'm gonna lose 60% of my money, and it's gonna be very hard to get that back, because if you lose 60% of your money, you have to make 150% profit. Okay? How many people here in this stream are risking 5 or 10% of their money on one trade? Come on, be honest. I did that loads of time. I did it last week, and I got punished for it. So be honest, because if people are doing that, I just want to continue on this point for 1 or 2 minutes. Yeah. So everyone, okay. Remember this: if you have a 50% win rate, and a lot of people have lower than that, and you can be profitable with a 30% win rate, but that doesn't matter. There are going to be 15 instances in 600 trades where you lose 6 trades in a row. 60% of your money is going to be wiped off your account. You're going to be wrecked. And you're going to have to make 150% profit to get that back. That is why I follow the 1% rule. And nobody listens to it. You know, everybody thinks like, oh, I want to learn TA, I want to learn this or that. They don't think this is sexy. It's not flashy. It's not, this is not what people think about when they think I want to become a trader. So 1% is what I risk. And last week I did more than that, and I got punished for it. And that's just, human beings. They are, including me, very stubborn. But that is all you should risk. And I want you guys to remember this, because just imagine, let's say you have $10,000. You just lost $6,000 because you had 6 losers in a row. You have $4,000 left. Okay? So what is the natural emotional reaction from people? They are angry, they are sad, and they feel like they want to make the money back. They want to, make the market pay. So, you go all in on a trade, or you risk like 50% because you're super sure that this is going to be the winner. And then boom, your portfolio is gone. And that's how people get wrecked. People don't get wrecked on the first trade. They get wrecked when they have a losing streak. So that's why the 1% rule, and that will save you a lot of headaches. Does that make any sense? I will go a little bit further on this one. Let's say you are a casino. Okay? And you have a roulette game. Why do the casinos have roulettes? It's very simple. If you bet on black, you have 50% chance to win. If you bet on red, you have 50% chance to win. So just think the green spot away for a second. The customer always has 50% chance to win, right? So why bother putting a roulette wheel on there? The customer's win chance is 50%. The casino's win chance is also 50%. What makes the casino profitable? It is this zero right here. This zero gives them a 5% edge on the win rate. So now, all of a sudden, the casino has a 55% chance to win. The customer has 45% chance to win. Here's the deal. A lot of people, in a casino, or some, I don't know if it's a lot, could be some, they have a certain amount of money. They have like, maybe $200. Once that is gone, they cannot continue the game. The casino has a lot of money. So all these tiny wins, all these times somebody bets $5, $10, the casino actually makes a little bit of money. And casinos make so much money because, and this is very easy to guess, they can play a lot of games. And over all those games, they have a 5% edge. They don't have a 5% edge if you just make a bet once, because nobody knows if it's going to be on red or black or whatever, right? And that is also how traders make their money. They have a certain edge, a strategy, and that's how they play. And over many, many plays or many, many trades, they make some money. And I hope this makes some sense. I did this out of the top of my head. So yeah, do we have any other additional questions? Because I am out of materials to speak about. I'm actually about to go home. So if you have an important question, please, ask it now. I can see shorting NASDAQ. Let's see what I think about that. This is the NASDAQ. It doesn't work. I'd say this works. Support, very old support. Always been pretty well respected, I can see. And currently we are, basically still above support. One could say this is a bear flag. Once it finishes, we could be below support. So could be a good trade, could be a bad trade, depending on how it plays out. Thoughts on BACT? And let me check the ticker for that. Thoughts on BACT? I don't see any BACT. Could you explain a little bit more about what it actually is? Gold, XAU. Actually, just gold. Gold seems bottomed out. I agree. I do. Reason is, if the stock markets are going to crash, most of the times, look at 2008, 2009, gold, silver, metals, they do pretty well. I would like to note, I am betting personally on silver. Why? For the following reason, and I thought this chart was also in here. There we go, here. Currently, there are 29,665 tons of silver in the world. This is in existence. This is lost throughout history. Now, this is gold. This is all the gold in the world. What is the case here? Silver, ever since we started using electronics, has been, pretty much depleted. It's the current tons above ground storage are very low, and they will continue to decline because we use silver in a lot of stuff today. We do not mine enough silver to resupply the current above ground storage, so it is shrinking, and I think that will drive silver to better highs than gold But this is a personal choice. You know, any metals are good if the stocks are going down. What could we look at? Be looking at the bottom here. It could potentially form an ascending triangle, which is a bullish pattern, but we're just going to have to wait and see if that's going to happen. I think it very much depends on the stock market and, you know, on the performance of the stock indexes, the futures, the indices, everything. If gold breaks out the top side, you know, we could be looking at a new all-time high. I don't know. This morning, Intercontinental Exchange, the trading colossus that owns the New York Stock Exchange and other global marketplaces, announced that it's forming. Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. No, that's definitely good news. It's one step closer to, you know, general adoption, and you know, I'm pretty positive about that. Even though the Bitcoin chart isn't moving a lot, the Bitcoin space definitely is. You know, it's getting better and better every day, and I think it's setting fundamentals for the coming years. You know, in order to have growth, we're going to have to basically have regulations. That's just how it is. Even though you know, I really don't like that. We need it. Once everything is set in place, I think you know, it's definitely gonna be beneficial. So yeah, definitely bullish news. Not bullish enough to cause an immediate bull run, but over the long term, I think it will definitely contribute to the crypto space. Quick look at BET, please, of course. Basic attention token. I think I've covered this a couple of times now. And let me check. Is this the exchange with the longest history? I believe it is. Let's go to Binance. Okay, so this is a very easy trade as far as I'm concerned. This is resistance. As long as basic attention token stays below this resistance, I don't think it's worth taking any position. Current market cap 253 million. You know, volume is okay. Over the years, I've noticed that when a coin has 10% of its market cap in volume, it will do very well sustaining the price. As long as we are below resistance, you know, I don't really think it's a good idea to trade this, because as you can see, it's going all over the place. Could try swing trade, but if you want to try swing trade, you should have bought the bottom here. It's too late now. Something to note, volume going sky high here. So we're gonna grab our indicators. We can see that a lot of coins are being bought from the market, but there also has been a pretty large dump here. How I would play this, very simple. Trend-based Fibonacci extension. Pull that up and mark your targets here over the long term once we break resistance. I think this is definitely reachable, and it could be a good trade. Once we are above this resistance, just set your stop below it, and it shouldn't be too hard. You're not afraid that the regulated market will turn into something Bitcoin wasn't meant to be? No, and I can tell you why. Bitcoin will have to be regulated. The big difference between Bitcoin and, you know, all the other bullshit out there is that Bitcoin cannot be printed by banks. You know, right now, if a bank needs money, they just push a button and they got money. They cannot do this with Bitcoin, you know, and that's how it's always supposed to be, as far as I'm concerned. And that is a big benefit of Bitcoin, even though it will be regulated. So yeah, overall, I'm pretty excited. What am I gonna do over the course of the next weeks? Of course, Corpse will be here tomorrow. I will be working very hard together with Corpse, just to make sure that we, deliver the product on time. I will show you guys something else right now, which is a premiere. It's nothing really special, but it's nice. My drive. Please give me 1 second, and this will be a premiere because you guys are still attending this live stream. I think you guys deserve to see this first. Where is it? I've got so much files on my computer. It's crazy. There it is. I found it. So our new style, our new logo, everything is basically gonna look like this. TradeAC stands for Trading Accelerator. And this is what Crypto Campus is going to be very soon. Now, I'm gonna also tell you guys about some changes. First of all, we think that what we should have in order to make everyone a profitable trader is a course, before community. When you guys joined the Crypto Campus, basically what happened is you got into this Discord. We got a channel named Courses. That's where you have to go. Then you click, then you go to Courses. And there is, at this point, not a super clear structure in, how this works. So the first thing when you enter the new Discord is going to be the course. This course is over 120 hours. Probably it's going to be close to 180 hours. So it is a tough course. That being said, becoming a trader isn't easy and you need a lot of information if you want to be a trader. Now, second, currently, I think that we are a great community, probably one of the best communities out there. I have a lot of laughs with you guys, a lot of crying when things go bad. We help each other out. I've never seen people, getting into fights or whatever. We want to keep that great community, but we are going to take trading a little bit more serious, okay? So basically what this means is we're going to be very result focused. We want all our members not to post messages like, hey, I just lost half my portfolio because I didn't know what the fuck to do. We want to be responsible in a sense for your success. And in order to do that, we need to have a serious Discord, serious conversations, and, basically be serious about it. Because a lot of people have this dream of becoming a trader and 99% never makes it. Now, that's the second step. Third, and I want to announce this today, and we are working on this currently in Crypto Campus. We have a membership structure. Everybody paying like $100 a month, in order to keep the campus up and running, keep all our systems up and running. This is going to be changed. What we are going to do, and I thought very long and hard about this, is make for you guys, and this is exclusively for everyone who is a member now, a one-time offer to become a lifetime member. So basically that means that if you take the offer, you're going to have a lifetime subscription to the Crypto Campus. I really wanted to do this because I am like super thankful for all the support that we had over the years, or over the year. Actually, we turned 1 year old a week ago, and I think you guys have the right to be here with a lifetime membership, enjoying all our products that we have, except, of course, the live products. Basically, how it's going to be structured, it's very simple. We have the basic course. It's going to be a 7-week course. We will give support in Discord. Then we have, obviously, the margin engine. This is live. So this will be basically another product that's going to be more expensive, more for people who, are already semi full-time traders and really want to start a business full-time trading, because it's not as easy as just creating an account and, oh, I'm a trader. No, being a trader is running a business. You're running your own business. So that's what the margin engine is for. And then we're going to have one more product, basically that means we're going to fly to you, and we will personally teach you trading. Once again, I want just, this offer is as a thank you from Crypto Campus team, from me, from everyone, because you guys have been so super essential into building this business. And I never dreamed, of actually building a business like this. Hold on a second. When I just started, couldn't have dreamed of running a community of 3,000 traders and basically, having, and this is not to brag, but a semi-essential role, meeting you guys in real life, because a couple of members actually already flew to the Netherlands from Russia, from the UK, from Spain, from the US, and that was really enjoyable. My goal is to, if we have the next bull market, to make sure that we all get shit rich, and we will do one giant party. It's gonna be awesome, and we will grab this once in a lifetime opportunity, and we will take it. It will be ours. That is my goal, and I want to thank you again for supporting me in that goal. You guys are awesome. And I'm really excited about this. Corpse is gonna be here tomorrow. Probably we will do a live stream together for the first time. But keep in mind, currently we are working on the margin engine. We are working on the trading accelerator. I'm working on BrickX. I'm doing so much stuff, and the comments are fair. Like, there is less activity in the channels. That's true. But once this product launches, the activity is going to be back, and it's going to be better than ever, as you guys deserve. So once again, thank you. It is now almost 11:30 p.m. So I'm probably going to have to go to bed. Tomorrow is going to be a long day. And I'm super excited. I hope you are as well. As usual, if you have any questions, just throw them my way. I'm going to answer them as soon as possible. And, keep an eye out, because the ETF is coming. We might be on the verge of a stock market crash. And all these things are opportunities. People are like, oh shit, we have like a crisis. We have a recession. A recession is an opportunity. If you take the opportunity, you make money shorting it, you can invest this stuff back at the bottom, and you can make money. ETF, if it gets accepted, great, moon, long that shit. If it gets declined, probably we will break support. We're going to short it, so lots of great stuff coming up. And I hope that our product will be ready next week so that you guys are prepared for what's to come. Have a great night.